Amours de Voyage, Canto 4 Arthur Hugh Clough less than I greater than Canto 4. Eastward, or northward, or west. I wander and ask as I wander, weary, yet eager and sure, where shall I come to my love? Whitherward hasten to seek her? Ye daughters of Italy, tell me, graceful and tender and dark, is she consorting with you? Thou that outclimbest the torrent, that tendest thy goats to the summit, call to me, child of the Alp, has she been seen on the heights? Italy, farewell I bid thee. For whither she leads me, I follow. Farewell the vineyard for I, where I but guess her, must go. Weariness welcome, and labor, wherever it be, if at last it bring me in mountain or plain into the sight of my love. Less than / I greater than I Clough to Eustace, from Florence. Gone from Florence? Indeed. And that is truly provoking. Gone to Milan, it seems. Then I go also to Milan. 5 days now departed. But they can travel but slowly. I quicker far. And I know, as it happens, the house they will go to. Why, what else should I do? Stay here and look at the pictures, statues, and churches. Alec, I am sick of the statues and pictures. No, to Bologna, Parma, Piacenza, Lodi, and Milan, off go we tonight, and the Venus go to the devil. 2. Clough to Eustace, from Bellagio. Gone to Como, they said. And I half posted to Como. There was a letter left. But the cameriere had lost it. Could it have been for me? They came, however, to Como, and from Como went by the boat, perhaps to the Splugen, or to the Stelvio, say, and the Tyrol. Also it might be by Porlezza across to Lugano, and so to the Simplon possibly, or the St. Gothard, or possibly, too, to Bivano, or to Turin, and elsewhere. Indeed, I am greatly bewildered. 3. Clough to Eustace, from Bellagio. I have been up the Splugen, and on the Stelvio also, neither of these can I find they have followed. In no one inn, and this would be odd, have they written their names. I have been to Porlezza. There they have not been seen, and therefore not at Lugano. What shall I do? Go on through the Tyrol, Switzerland, Deutschland, seeking, and in Versailles, a kingdom, to find only asses? There is a tide, at least, in the love affairs of mortals, which, when taken at flood, leads on to the happiest fortune, leads to the marriage morn and the orange flowers in the altar, and the long lawful line of crowned joys to crowned joys succeeding. Ah, it has ebbed with me. Ye gods, and when it was flowing, pitiful fool that I was, to stand fiddle-faddling in that way. 4. Clough to Eustace, from Bellagio. I have returned and found their names in the book at Como. Certain it is I was right, and yet I am also in error. Added in feminine hand, I read, by the boat to Bellagio. So to Bellagio again, with the words of her writing to aid me. Yet at Bellagio I find no trace, no sort of remembrance. So I am here, and wait, and know every hour will remove them. V. Clough to Eustace, from Bellagio. I have but one chance left, and that is going to Florence. But it is cruel to turn. The mountains seem to demand me, peak and valley from far to beckon and motion me onward. Somewhere amid their folds she passes, whom fain I would follow. Somewhere among those heights she haply calls me to seek her. Ah, could I hear her call? Could I catch the glimpse of her raiment? Turn, however, I must, though it seem I turn to desert her. For the sense of the thing is simply to hurry to Florence, where the certainty yet may be learned, I suppose, from the ropers. 6. Mary Trevelyan, from Lucerne, to Miss Roper, at Florence. Dear Miss Roper, by this you are safely away, we are hoping, many a league from Rome. Ere long we trust we shall see you. How have you traveled? I wonder. Was Mr. Clough your companion? As for ourselves, we went from Como straight to Lugano. So by the Mount St. Gothard. We meant to go by Porlezza, taking the steamer, and stopping, as you had advised, at Bellagio, 2 or 3 days or more. But this was suddenly altered, after we left the hotel, on the very way to the steamer. So we have seen, I fear, not one of the lakes in perfection. Well, he is not come, and now, I suppose, he will not come. What will you think, meantime? And yet I must really confess it. What will you say? I wrote him a note. We left in a hurry, went from Milan to Como, 3 days before we expected. But I thought, if he came all the way to Milan, he really ought not to be disappointed. And so I wrote 3 lines to say I had heard he was coming, desirous of joining our party. If so, then I said, we had started for Como, and meant to cross the St. Gothard, and stay, we believed, at Lucerne, for the summer. Was it wrong? And why, if it was, has it failed to bring him? Did he not think it worthwhile to come to Milan? He knew you told him the house we should go to. Or may it, perhaps, have miscarried? Anyway, now, I repent, and am heartily vexed that I wrote it. Less than I greater than there is a home on the shore of the Alpine Sea, that upswelling high up the mountainside spreads in the hollow between. Wilderness, mountain, and snow from the land of the olive conceal it. Under Pilatus' hill low by its river it lies Italy, utter the word, and the olive and vine will allure not, wilderness, forest, and snow will not the passage impede. Italy, unto thy cities receding, the clue to recover, hither, recovered the clue, shall not the traveller haste? Less than / I greater than.